Okay, so here we are in the greenhouse. It's a grotty day outside, so it's a perfect time to have a look around the greenhouse, spend a bit of time in here, making sure everything's healthy, maybe doing a little bit of pruning, a little bit of watering, and just checking how things are going. So, greenhouse normally, when it's sunny, is really hot, really hot. We obviously have vents either end, at the end of the greenhouse, we have the door at the other end and vents in the roof, and still it gets really, really hot in here. So it's best suited for plants like peppers and sweet peppers and normal peppers, chili peppers, and also aubergines. Because of space, I've also got a few tomato plants in here. The rest of them are in the polytunnel, but I've got a few in here, and I'm just going to see the contrast between the two and see, as far as ripening goes, whether this is much hotter, much more effective because it's hotter than the polytunnel. Unfortunately, we don't have full aspect here for the greenhouse. We've got about sort of 60-70% aspect, which in some ways keeps it a little bit cooler when it's really hot, but in the spring and in the summertime, it means that we miss out a bit of light here. So it's not ideal aspect, this greenhouse, but it's all we've got. And it's particularly good for getting seedlings going early doors in the season, you know, right in spring, in February even, some seeds, you can just get them going really, really early so that when the frosts are over, or at least the weather's got a bit better, then you can get planting them out and get on with things straight away. So it's fantastic for that. Also extends the season a little bit too towards the end. It means that things stay ripe and stay growing a little bit longer. So it's greenhouse is really, really useful. This year we've put a polytunnel in. Not used a polytunnel before, but it's a similar idea where it keeps the temperature higher, particularly throughout the winter. That's what we're using it for, is to try and grow winter crops. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. So let's have a look at what we've got going here. So as mentioned, we've got tomato plants. We've got 4 of these. We're in June now, or right at the end of June, last day of June, so you can see that we're just starting to get some fruits appearing. It's not been particularly hot over the last week, so when we get the sun back, then obviously things will start to ripen a lot better. I've also planted basil in here. Basil apparently helps to keep away the sort of the insects that really like tomatoes, and so it's good as a sort of companion planting to plant them together. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what I've done. And you can see down here, we're still fairly small. These are our pepper plants. I've got 5 of these, and they're obviously taking a while to grow. They need really good temperature, that's why they're in the greenhouse. And what I'm really hoping is over the next month or so they really start to take off. What is starting to take off now are the aubergine plants, and you can see the little fruits that are starting to appear, just little buds. I've just been learning from Charles Dowding about how you can prune aubergine plants, taking off the side shoots, bit like with the tomatoes, taking side shoots off between. So when you have the junction between the stem and a truss or a leaf, you often get side shoots coming out in the middle, and if you don't take them off, they become large branches or offshoots that just spread the growth of the plant far too wide and mean that you're not just growing vertically, you're also growing side to side. Whilst that does mean more fruit, it seems to be less healthy for the plant than trying to keep all of the growth through a main trunk. And the same is true with the aubergines. You can do the same thing with these. He recommends that you try, as you can see with this one, you try and allow 2 stems to grow up, and then you start taking side shoots off. And then you'll end up having sort of essentially 2 large plants coming out of one pot. But it's again controlled. You can tie them up, and then hopefully you get lots of really good healthy fruit from them. In here we've also got salad cress growing. I tried this a few times inside and it ended up just getting too dry, so we're trying this again with thousands and thousands of seeds. That's the other thing I didn't do well enough last time, was to plant quite enough seeds, but so far that seems to be working really well. So hopefully over the next week or two that'll grow high enough that we can actually start harvesting it. Down here we have the sort of the sowing cells. In the past, I would use a seed tray like this one, and then I would let it grow large enough, and then prick them out and pop them into sort of mid-sized pots, something like that. Whereas with these, again, I've used the seed tray because you get so many seeds not germinating, you don't want to waste space in your cells. But once they have germinated, very soon after, even when they're tiny, you prick them out. As you can see there, for example, these are beetroots, and you can see how small I've pricked them out as. But it means that they've got enough compost for them to grow healthily and to get to a really decent size. But also, when you're ready, you basically just push from beneath and it comes out as a beautiful little modular unit that you can just whack into the ground. Really nice and easy to plant. And it also means that you get a really good idea of how many plants you've got that are healthy, and you can really plan your beds well. So these are fantastic. So we're June. What have I got in here? So we've got the second round of French beans. Quite a lot of beetroot there because I want to be able to try and store some over the winter. So we've got some that's just being harvested at the moment, but this is a sort of second load. It's so usable in different situations, but it's super healthy and delicious. So we've basically done a second load of that. Radishes, I find that you can never plant enough radishes. They only take a few weeks to grow, but you need loads of them in each salad, and so therefore I'm always trying to get more germinating, and just every area I can find, every sort of bare bit of bed, I'm sticking some more radishes in. So that's what's growing here. And then finally up here, which is the first time I've ever done this is turmeric. So this was just a piece of turmeric, bought from the health food shop, which we normally just eat. Took a bit of the root off and planted it, and at the moment a couple of the turmerics have come up. I've also done the same with ginger, but no luck yet. But anyway, that's a total experiment, and we'll see how that goes on as the season sort of goes. So that was the greenhouse. As you can see, it really is a fantastic investment. I mean, this is only 6 foot by 8 foot, but for us it's been great. It's really good for extending the season, for sort of doing the seedlings and planting the seedlings, and also it allows us to grow some plants that we couldn't grow otherwise in this country. So it really keeps that temperature up. So fantastically versatile.